Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about on-time arrival at merchant rate on Grubhub. Grubhub's on-time arrival at merchant rate is one of the most unique ratings in the gig economy. While I wouldn't necessarily call it a better system than DoorDash or Uber Eats, there are parts of it that I think are significantly fairer for drivers and even make more sense given Grubhub's current market position. So in this video, we are talking about everything you must know about on-time arrival at merchant rate on Grubhub, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over is very market to market and case by case, so what applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. What Grubhub tells you. First off, I find it kind of interesting that the finer details on the on-time rate is very minimal on the Grubhub driver help pages. Everything Grubhub tells drivers about this rating fits into a handful of sentences, and unfortunately, it leaves out most of the questions drivers actually have. Your on-time arrival at merchant rate is calculated based on how promptly you arrive at a restaurant or merchant to pick up an order. So suppose you accept an order for $14 on Grubhub that's specifically asking you to arrive at Chick-fil-A at 6:20 p.m. If you pull into the parking lot at 6:18 and mark yourself as arrived, you're on time. If traffic slows you down and you mark yourself as arrived at 6:25 instead, your on-time arrival at merchant rate could take a hit because you missed that target. This is already different than DoorDash or Uber Eats because this rating not only measures the first half of the delivery process and is one rating where the outcome is largely within your control. I get that this is a very straightforward concept from a surface perspective, but goddamn, can we maybe answer the questions drivers are actually going to ask 5 seconds after reading this? Because this is the same help page that Just Eat Takeaway had probably when they bought Grubhub initially, but I thought when Wonder bought the company, they would at least try to revamp some of the help pages and systems. A tip for success: head out as soon as you accept an order so it doesn't get reassigned. This is also one of those no-duh tips, like super minimal and definitely not that helpful for someone who would like to understand how the rating is truly tracked. This is the only tip in the help pages, as there are a couple of tips in the on-time arrival at merchant rating page available in the Grubhub rating section of the driver app, so let's go over those really quick. The closer your arrival time is to the arrive by time on your map, the higher the stat will be. Again, pretty much straightforward. However, a lot of people have contested this point of questioning how the arrive by time is determined. Is the arrive by time determined when the order is placed or when the driver accepted the order? Because that distinction matters, because drivers don't control when the customer places the order. They control what happens after they receive it. There's a lot of debate on this, and not only for the overall purposes of the on-time ratings in general, but if an on-time rating for arriving to the pickup location should exist at all. Don't worry, restaurant delays will never affect your on-time rate. This might actually be one great thing about this rate, because it is not the on-time rate to the customer or both the merchant and the customer, but just the merchant, meaning that every aspect of getting to the merchant location is almost completely within your control. Now, let's say you made it to Chick-fil-A at 6:18 like the app asked you earlier, but the restaurant tells you it'll be another 25 minutes before the food is ready. Frustrating, yes, but it doesn't hurt this particular rating because Grubhub only cared that you got to the merchant on time. Granted, that doesn't change that traffic can slow you down and roadblocks as well as other obstacles can slow you down as well. But nevertheless, the main obstacles that would affect your rating on other platforms is not a factor here. And it doesn't matter if the customer puts in the wrong address or the restaurant chooses to delay the order, only if you made it there on time. That doesn't mean you should tolerate poor behavior for from customers or restaurants, but at least you know if you do arrive on time to the merchant, you won't be penalized for what happens after, at least in this rating specifically. So now that we understand how this rating is actually calculated, let's talk about why drivers care about this in the first place. How on-time arrival at merchant rate affects premier status. On-time rate is one of the 3 things that directly affect your driver status as a driver in terms of your placement within the driver recognition program on Grubhub. If you have less than a 70% on-time rate, you are a partner level in this category. 70+% is Pro and 80+% is Premier. Now, to be clear, this rate is only as good as your lowest placement, so if one of the placements you have is below the highest, that level is what you will stay at. Honestly, I would focus on maintaining good habits and maintaining a profit rather than trying to keep up with this program, but do what you wish. On-time arrival at merchant rate is not offer commitment rate. Like I said, the on-time arrival at merchant rate only affects how well you are on time to the merchant. Offer commitment is how often you follow through on those orders you accept front to back, regardless of how fast or on time you will be. So while your rating for being on time may not be affected, if you decide to unassign when getting to the restaurant, you can experience a hit to your offer commitment rate. So let's keep following our Chick-fil-A order. You arrived on time, but after waiting 20 minutes, you decide the wait wasn't worth it, and you decide to unassign the order. Some of you have unassigned it earlier than that. I get that. We're saying 20 minutes. Your on-time arrival at merchant rate may still reflect that you arrived when it was expected, but your offer commitment rate can still decrease because you accepted an offer and didn't complete it. There are nuances and reasons to unassign for sure, but nevertheless, if you are the type of person who is very concerned about their ratings, that is an important distinction. Understanding that distinction is also important, and it also helps explain one other thing that makes Grubhub systems unique, and that's how long these ratings actually stick around. Ratings attached to time, not orders. One of the few notable things about the on-time rating for Grubhub is that the rating is based on how often you are on time over the past 14 days. So if you take an order, were late once, and didn't do a single order since, the order kind of just falls off after 2 weeks. Fast forward 2 weeks, suppose this Chick-fil-A was the only one where you arrived late during that time. Once it falls outside of Grubhub's 14-day tracking window, it no longer affects your on-time arrival at merchant rate. That's very different from the on-time ratings you would find with Grubhub's competitors, being DoorDash and Uber Eats, where they're either based on the last 100 to 200 deliveries on a rolling basis. And that might actually be a good thing, especially for a platform that doesn't have the volume of DoorDash and Uber Eats. It kind of gives us the opportunity to maintain at least one solid rating as long as Grubhub does their best to take back to the position in the big 3 that they once lost. Should there be an on-time rate for this? I completely understand why some drivers hate this rating, but I also understand why Grubhub uses it. As I said earlier, there are a lot of questions on whether or not there should be an on-time rating for the concept of showing up to the merchant on time. Is it not more important to get the order to the customer in a timely fashion? Why would we be rated on the first half of getting an order completed and nothing else? Is this not just a method of micromanagement by the people operating the platform? First off, I would rather be rated on things that I can control, and one of the things that I have the most control over is being to the merchant on time. Again, there are edge cases in traffic and such, but for the most part, this is the one step I have the most control over compared to the rest. Looking back at the Chick-fil-A example, I actually understand why Grubhub tracks this. Whether it got there at 6:20 was almost entirely under my control. Whether the restaurant took another 25 minutes wasn't within my control. If I'm going to be judged on something, I'd rather it be the part of the delivery that I have the most influence over. Second, I agree that the most important thing is to get the order to the customer on time, and there is a huge difference in the overall purpose of delivery and the ways in which we are rated. Grubhub is one of those platforms that kind of only rate us on things we can control. And finally, is this a form of micromanagement? I think in terms of the big 3, it may not only be the least suspect of using ratings as a management system and more so using them to have drivers qualify for higher paying orders through the driver recognition program. I still don't think it's worth losing money to get a couple of bigger orders here and there, but you do you. In other words, there is a big difference between being punished by ratings and not being rewarded for ratings. Don't risk dirty multi-apping. One thing I would say, regardless of the platform, especially today where companies have been cracking down on it, is to not risk dirty multi-apping where you are trying to complete multiple orders on multiple platforms. Where you could and should be active on multiple platforms, taking overlapping orders on platforms can and will punish you if you aren't careful. It's one thing to be online for other apps. It's another to cause a delay because you think you could pick up another order quickly enough. Now, imagine before heading to Chick-fil-A, you accepted an Uber Eats order from the restaurant next door because you thought you could squeeze both deliveries in. That extra stop causes you to reach the Chick-fil-A at 6:24 instead of 6:18, and suddenly you've created a problem that didn't need to exist and potentially hurt your standing on both platforms. Not only do you risk getting a bad rating, you also risk multiple contract violations on each platform, or worse, getting deactivated. And don't even get me started on how being in California and NYC or Seattle, where those overlaps will get you in trouble. Remember, diversifying your income is supposed to reduce risk, not give you more. Final thoughts. This rating seems to be the most interestingly executed out of the big three food delivery companies, and while I do like a lot of things from it, and some parts of the Grubhub system seem to work well considering their circumstances, there are also parts that should be executed a bit better. There's no real dispute system within the app or anywhere else. If there is a problem getting to the merchant, what actions should a driver make? It doesn't say on the help pages, and we can't assume that support will help us when they haven't been all that helpful in the past. What about the minimum requirements? Are there minimums, or is it just if we don't want you, we'll cut you rules? Like I said, the help pages don't really answer those questions, which unfortunately were the exact kind of questions everyone had 5 seconds after reading the only paragraph. At the end of the day, I think Grubhub's idea isn't the problem. The problem is that drivers shouldn't have to reverse engineer how it works. Good documentation systems create better drivers. Guesswork creates frustration, and the more drivers that understand how these systems actually work, the better decisions they can make for themselves, not just Grubhub, but for every platform they use. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, check out my website, drivenwyld.com. If you would like to learn some more about the platforms and services that we have talked about in the past and are offering to gig workers today, once again, thank you so much for watching.